10 o'clock on the dot. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're lucky to have with us this evening Lamar Jones. And I've told some of the students about Lamar, but Lamar is a very talented person in multiple domains of his life. So I'll just turn it over to Lamar and let him do his presentation.
All right. So first of all, thank you guys for, having me, for allowing me the opportunity. I was telling Mr. Joe what I like to do with these type of sessions usually is more of a Q&A. That way, any type of questions that you guys have about anything dealing with entrepreneurship in general, but any questions that you might have, that way those questions can be asked. No question is a stupid question. I really wish I had someone that was kind of doing what I was doing at the time that I started. That would have made things a lot easier. But what that has allowed me to do is learn a lot of things over the span of time. And if you guys are not, really familiar with, what I do, I'm a musician that kind of fell into the barbecue sauce thing. I'm originally from Camden, New Jersey, grew up down in South Florida, Hollywood and Miami. Been in Texas for about 12 years now, actually going on 13 years. Music was what kind of brought me over to the Rio Grande Valley back in 2008. Long story short, I wanted something that reminded me of home, South Florida, because down there, you kind of have everything that you want to, anything that you can think of that you might want to eat, you kind of have at your fingertips. You have, Jamaican food, Cuban food, Haitian food, soul food, Indian food, anything you can think of. So I kind of grew up around that type of stuff. And that is what, I guess, developed my palate. I grew a taste for just good food. And that's what ultimately allowed me to kind of create what I have now, which is the Jank gourmet barbecue sauce. That has kind of branched off into about 4 different flavors at this point, and also a dry rub, like all-purpose seasoning blend. Also end up publishing a book, The Adventures of Sir Jankster, which is a true story. It's just a children's book in the form of, well, it's my story in the form of a children's book. Again, I'm still doing music pretty heavily. I just released an album not too long ago. I guess one of my most recent projects was something that I got a chance to actually fly out to LA and do a video with an artist named Logic. Some of you guys might know who he is, but I had an opportunity to kind of go out there and shoot a video with him and collaborate on the song. So I'm just kind of all over the place in terms of diversifying and trying to create multiple streams of income. Because I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what it's about. It's probably always been about that, but they didn't really start preaching it, or at least I didn't really start hearing a whole lot about making sure you had multiple streams of income until I got a little older. So just branching out, staying busy, pivoting in a time where, a lot of uncertainty is going on, especially as an entrepreneur, because we have no idea where this thing is going. 2020 has been a very great teacher, for lack of a better word. Everything that you thought was or could be was possible during 2020. So you either got left behind in the curve, or you kind of excelled or moved forward and was able to kind of pivot during this time. So again, I do want to kind of meet, I guess, everyone that's in the room now. And I guess if you guys can, you can definitely turn your cameras on. But I want to know a little bit about everybody that's in the room. How many people do we have in the room? Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like we have about
Yes.
13 people other than you and me. So we have about
Okay.
15 people total.
Okay. All right. So yeah, anybody want to share, what it is that they do, what type of business ideas you may or may not have at this point in 2020, or maybe you're already running a business. Don't all speak at one time.
Don't forget to unmute yourself.
Huh? They have to unmute themselves, right? Everybody's muted.
Did I
You
make?
can definitely make it available for them to like mute and unmute themselves. I think we'll be okay. We only have about 13 people in there, like you said. So I think you can, make it to where they can control it. That'll be fine.
Who wants to go first?
Anybody. I'm looking at is that Aloniz Rodriguez? That's the first name that I see.
What was the question?
Do you have a business? Are you thinking of some ideas? What is it that you do? Tell me a little bit about yourself and what's going on the entrepreneurial side.
Well, not really. So far for business ideas, I really never thought of anything, but I have heard about having multiple streams of income, available. I have seen some
Okay,
videos of people like buying vending machines or like starting a business on eBay or Amazon, but for the most part, I
cool.
haven't really came up with anything. Right now, I'm just
Okay.
trying to focus on getting my nursing degree.
Okay, cool, man. Well, you got to start somewhere. I can tell you, when I started, barbecue sauce was nowhere in my vision. I never even thought about having a barbecue sauce business. It was something that kind of happened naturally as I moved here to South Texas out of necessity, actually. So a lot of time it's figuring out, the problems that you face on the daily. Some of those, how to solve some of those basic problems that are around you on a daily basis a lot of time end up to be great business ideas. So don't feel bad that you don't have one yet, because it'll definitely come to you if that's something that you really want to do. Cool. All right. Next we have is that Sydney Corkill. Are you there, Sydney? Unmute yourself.
Yep, I'm here.
All right, cool. Anything you want to share?
Um, I think as far as if I've ever like want to sell or start a business, I think I'd want to sell some art pieces because I make stuff
Awesome.
with polymer clay.
Okay, awesome. That's different. Is there a lot of folks doing that type of stuff that you
Um,
know of?
not that I know of, but like I know like on Etsy, there's quite a few people that do sell stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's pretty interesting just because there's like a lot of different things you can make for
Definitely.
people.
Definitely. Now, would you say you have a niche? Is there something like what? And I'm asking this question because this is something that I would get a lot when I was starting the business. What makes your art different from everybody else? Like what makes you stand out in that area?
So far I haven't really seen very many people making press-ons like I don't know how to explain it, but like I get like dried up flowers and I
Uh,
press them into the clay and it sort of molds it,
Okay.
and I haven't really seen that.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a great thing. Setting yourself apart from what everybody else is doing is something that's going to help you kind of move forward with that. So that's awesome.
Oh,
Cool.
thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
All right, Miss is April.
Mind if I share?
Who's that? Go ahead,
Well,
and
my
then we'll
name is
come back to April if she wants to
my
share.
name is Amado, and my future career I want to be as a veterinarian.
Okay,
But I want to go into large animals like livestock, and maybe
okay,
one day open up like my own private practice.
awesome.
Yeah, but as for entrepreneurship right now, well, I just sell textbooks on Amazon.
Hey, all right. Hey, that's a start, man. That's you're doing something. And now the good thing about what you're doing, all right, you're selling books on Amazon, but you want to start this, veterinarian thing. You want to do this huge business. That is entrepreneurial because you're going to be starting your own thing. So you're definitely on the right track. A lot of times we kind of get off track trying to figure out where we're going to get the money to start these things off. But little side hustles like what you're doing, saving that money, doing that over and over again until you get to a place where you can afford to do that, it's going to be a great thing, Amato. So that's you're actually on the right track, man. I would say keep going in that direction. I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you take care of your credit because that's going to be important. You want to be able to leverage your credit and have capital when you need it in order to open something like that up. But I would say definitely just keep doing the research in the meantime, figuring out what it is that you have to get done up until that point, and just stay with it, stay consistent with it, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, cool, man. That's awesome, though, man. And just fun fact, when I was a kid, I thought I was going to be a veterinarian. It didn't work out that way. I still love animals, but I just didn't turn out to be a veterinarian. So definitely keep that up.
Mhm.
Cool, man.
Thanks.
Cool. And anybody else want to share? We'll take one more person. I know I said April. Are you still there, April? All right. Anybody else want to share? All right. All right. So again, like I mentioned at the beginning, guys, if you have questions about anything, definitely feel free to ask those questions. No question is a stupid question. I'm going to share with you guys. Like I said, I tell you I'm a musician that kind of fell into the barbecue sauce thing. So first, I'll show you what the product looks like. I don't know if we can put it in the chat, like give me a thumbs up or whatnot if you've ever seen this product, if you know what it is. Give me like a thumbs up if you've ever heard of it in the chat. But you can actually find this in NHEB. Um, when I started, I was doing about 24 bottles at a time in my kitchen. Uh, like I said, I've done a few different flavors. You got the original, you got the spicy, you have a habanero. Then you also have the newest edition, which is the goodness. It's diabetic and keto friendly. All right, I see a couple thumbs up. You got the diabetic and keto friendly version. And then you have dry rub, all purpose seasoning. So now I started out, it was just the original. As I got more requests for people wanting to do something a little spicy, that's where the spicy and the habanero came into play. Um, as an entrepreneur, I'll tell you a lot of time you get, a lot of ideas from all over the place. People tend to like give you ideas on what you possibly could be doing, especially when it comes to food. Try this flavor, maybe you could do this flavor. I really don't tend. Thank you, Luis. I appreciate you. Um, I tend to take those things into consideration if I hear them enough. So like every flavor that I have, uh, I probably heard it for about a year or so. Like people saying, "Hey, do you have this?" Before I would entertain that, because rolling out a whole new flavor is not as as easy as you probably think. Okay, you would think, oh, I just want to do this flavor, let's roll it out. But if there's not a market for it, if enough people are not really looking for that, then you kind of just have a product that's there and it's on the shelf, but it's not moving, and you don't want to be in that position. With any product or service, you want to find something that people need or want, and actually do some of that market research and see, is there a market out there for it? Does it make sense to kind of get out there and do whatever it is that you guys are doing? This video that I'm gonna play is actually something. It's an animated commercial. The singing in the commercial that you're gonna hear, that is my voice. That is me singing on the commercial as well. So I'm gonna play that, and then again, if you guys have any questions after I play this commercial, again, feel free to ask those questions because no question is a stupid question. All right. So did I? Okay.
Hello?
Get back. Yeah, I'm here. Can you? I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna share this with you guys. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Can you hear it?
Definitely.
All right.
One of a kind. Get your own. This one is mine. Hold on for the ride. Oh, barbecue day. Make no mistake. Taste it and you love it. You'll never get enough. It's so good that you can put it on cake.
All right. So that was it. That was like one of the first commercials that I did. I talked to earlier when I was talking to, I think it's still playing. Something's still playing. Hold on. I think that's just on my end though. Okay. When I asked the question to, was it Al, what's the name? Amado, and who else was it? But just differentiate yourself.
Oh yeah.
And Sydney, I think, is who I was talking to. So when I talked about, differentiating yourself in your space, whether that's a service, whether that's a product, for me being a musician, coming into a barbecue sauce, a very saturated industry, it's like, okay, how do I stand out in this industry? First of all, you only get one first impression. That's something that I heard early on, and understanding that like you only get that one time to make that first impression. So you want that to be you putting your best foot forward. You want that to be the best that it can possibly be. So with me trying to stand out amongst all these other huge barbecue sauce companies, I figured, hey, you know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen any folks doing barbecue sauce that actually sing or rap or do that type of stuff. So how can I incorporate my music into what I do? So that's where the jingle came into play. And then again, taking it a step further and saying, hey, I think an animation would be pretty cool. Um, so that was something that I felt would be different. It would definitely differentiate me from everybody else in the market, along with the packaging and taking the time to really figure out what I wanted that logo to be, what I wanted the color schemes to be. The slogan is so good that you can put it on cake. You know what I mean? Like those type of things, just to kind of drive the point forward that, hey, this is different. This is not like everything else on the shelf. So you only, like I say, get that one first impression. Any questions up to this point, at this point, about anything?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Who's speaking?
Jeanette.
Jeanette. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when you first, when you finally released to the public your first commercial, how did it feel? Like, did you feel like anxious, excited? How did you feel?
You know what? That was a good question. I definitely felt a little excited because it's one thing to have an idea, but to actually see that idea materialize and actually see it is like a great feeling. Even right now, it's been about 5 or 6 years since my product has been on the shelf, and every time I go into the store, into a HEB, it never gets old. It still feels a little surreal to me that, hey, my product, this idea that I had in my head is actually sitting on the shelf right now. So seeing those ideas come to life is a humbling experience, but it puts into perspective that anything that you put your mind to, anything that you can think of, that you can dream up, is definitely possible if if you work for it and just kind of make it happen and stay consistent with it. Make sense?
Yes, yes, it does.
Cool, cool. I have a feeling that you have some type of idea or something that you wanna see happen.
Yes, there's like, since I'm a little bit of, I have a background of art, and sometimes I've been like kind of struggling to put it out there, but
Okay.
sometimes when people really like it, it feels good. So I understand where you're coming from, where it feels real humbling, it feels real good.
It's a great feeling. I would say to you, Jeanette, Put it out there. Like it's doing no good sitting in your folder or sitting in your your room or wherever you have the artwork. It does no good sitting around. Nobody can see it. You know what I mean? So I would say, put it out there. There's a lot of different, avenues nowadays. There's ways that you can, really put your artwork out and sell it or promote it or however you want to do. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Whatever that is, however you want to get those out there and start putting them out there.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Hopefully, we'll get to see something soon. And you're not, and you're with, yeah, and this is all UTRGV, correct?
STC.
Yeah, we're all STC.
STC, okay. STC, okay. See, now I graduated from STC too in 2010 with an education associates in education. Um, so I know, I know times have changed now, but I know for a fact that if you, really put the work in and get with some of your staff and this and that, there's opportunities where they can, showcase artwork and things of that nature. So I think Miss Brown, I don't know if Miss Brown is still teaching that STC. Is she? I seen her recently.
Yes,
She's one of the art teachers. She is?
yes, I had her for art appreciation, I think
Okay.
2 years ago.
Okay, so even being able to just pull her to the side and speak to her about what it is that you want to do about showcasing your work and stuff, I'm quite sure she'll be able to point you in the right direction and get you some traction under that.
Thank you.
Cool, cool. No problem, no problem. Any other questions?
I have another question. Because I was seeing some of your products you put up, and you put up a dry rub, which is like a
Uh-huh.
can season everything. How do you
Yes.
make yours differ from, say, like a Morton seasonal?
Gotcha. Great question. All right. So again, wanting to do something different. What's different with the dry rub is that it's actually low sodium. It's only 10 milligrams of sodium. Most rubs, most all-purpose seasonings, a lot of the things that I've seen on the market are always have a ton of salt in them. You have so there's the other thing that I guess keep in mind when I'm developing products is it something that I would eat? Is it something that I could eat and not feel horrible after eating? Um, all of my products are no corn syrup, gluten free, no MSG, uh, and the again the sodium level is lower than most when you talk about barbecue sauces, but my the goodness let's see, the sodium on the goodness is actually a lot lower. Sodium's only 20 milligrams in the goodness, which is this one. So for me, it was a matter of being conscious of putting out a product that I could stand by, that I could be proud of, that I know that people are not kind of doing themselves a disservice by eating too much of something. Especially the stuff that's not really good for you. Most of those things have like the corn syrups and things of that nature in them, which are not the best thing for you. Things like MSG as well. A lot of people have adverse reactions to MSG, which is monosodium glutamate is the actual name, but it's MSG. A lot of people can't really eat that. A lot of people can't do the gluten nowadays. A lot of people need to doing like low sodium because of their diets and things of that nature. So it was just again something that I liked, that I felt would be a good product. So I kind of keep that in mind whenever I'm developing a product because I want to be I guess environmentally conscious about what I put out. At the end of the day, it's not about the money, which makes a huge difference when you are not really in it for the money. Obviously, we want to make money. It's a business. We all need money. It's just a tool, in order to do the things that we kind of need to do in life. But it's not about that, and that makes a big difference in how you go about or what the process is in developing products and what you put out into the world. That makes sense.
It definitely makes sense.
Okay, cool, cool,
I
cool.
second that.
Cool. Great question, man. Great question. And any other questions?
I have a question, Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Can you please speak on the importance of mentorship?
Uh-huh.
So I'm sure you
Okay.
had your idea, but you may not have known, okay, I have this idea. I want to get into barbecue sauces, but what's my next step? What do I do next? Did you seek someone, like some guidance from someone that was already within that field, or like what did you do?
Great question. And I wish that there was somebody in the field at the time that I knew that I had access to that would show me, kind of what those next steps were, what it is that I needed to be kind of working on. Unfortunately, I didn't have that. So when you say talk about the importance of mentorship, this is why I do these type of things whenever I have the opportunity to do it. One reason is obviously I'm local. A lot of people don't even know that I'm here in the valley. I'm in Weslaco. A lot of people think that I'm in Houston, Austin. They think that I live outside of the valley. Uh, so being able to be accessible for that, because I know that if I had somebody like me to reach out to back then, things would probably be further along. But it did give me an opportunity to learn a lot of things along the way. So what I have learned, I'm very open to share and I'm very transparent when it comes to that because again, I wish I had that at the time. So I spend a lot of time doing this type of stuff, and for the reason of like, there's enough out there for everybody. I think a lot of people, tend to not want to share things because they feel like, oh, you're going to take away from, what I'm doing or what I have going on. And it shouldn't be like that, but unfortunately, it's like that at times, and you run into people like that. So I just want to be that person that is not what you're used to seeing when it comes to anything entrepreneurship, just general in life, man. People don't want to share things for whatever reason, but there's plenty out there for everybody to win, and that's what I kind of focus on. So I do have like a mentoring program. I have a scholarship program where I, give scholarships to graduating seniors and things like that. So there's just a lot of things that I'm involved in the community in general, but I try to do as much of that as possible. And and what I can tell you too is that when you are doing those type of things, when you're giving back, you'll be surprised how much that kind of pushes your business forward when you do stuff like that, because people see that you're genuine in what you do as far as giving back and how you're involved. So that definitely helps move things forward. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Great
Lamar,
question.
yeah,
Now, go ahead, Joe.
sorry about to intervene. I wanted to just mention to everyone that you also have external resources out there, like the Small Business Development Center. There's a thing
Definitely.
more, which is retired executives that can help you. If you're interested in finding some help with a business or just bouncing some ideas off somebody, get in contact with the club, and there's even other different local resources that can help you. So
Definitely. So that some of the places that or tools that I utilized when I was getting started was definitely the SBA, which is locally there in Edinburgh. Uh, they were pretty helpful in being able to access certain information that I didn't necessarily have access to. They actually introduced me to the Chamber of Commerce in McAllen, which is where I was able to actually win two innovation grants. The first one that I got was like what I used to get my product retail ready with the packaging, all of the FDA approval, just everything that I needed to actually be ready to be on the shelf in the store. Uh, the Lift Fund is a micro lending organization, biggest one in Texas, from what I understand. They're also local. They have an office in McAllen. These are folks that you're able to utilize when your credit is not, the greatest, and you can't necessarily get a loan from a bank. Micro lending is one way to kind of go about doing that. Uh, there are different resources out there, and STC, I'm quite sure, again, if you talk to your professors and things at STC, I'm quite sure there's other things and programs. But also now with everything going on, like entrepreneurship is really being encouraged. So there's all type of, grants and programs and things of that nature out there. It's just a matter of being able to look and find them, and again, asking those questions, man. I know a lot of time we shy away from asking questions, and that can be, something that hurts us in the long run, because not asking that question, it could be the difference in, you finding exactly what you need, or not being able to do it at all. So asking those questions is very, very important. Any other questions?
We had some questions that came in through WhatsApp. Let's see.
Okay, definitely.
What would you tell a 20-something college student about business making versus a older student, they say 40 to 50-year-old who has a job? So what advice would you give for the younger person?
For the younger person about starting a business, I just want to make sure I'm getting exactly what the question is. What's the advice I would give a younger person versus an older person about starting a business?
I think they're basically saying, I think they're basically saying, given your experience, would there be something that you could say that would be more for the younger person than someone who's an older 40, 50-year-old who's already in a job and family and all that kind of stuff? That's what I'm understanding from the question.
All right. So, okay. Well, funny thing is, or the great thing about entrepreneurship is it's never too late. The best time to start your business idea is yesterday. Whenever you could have got it done, or should be getting it done. Like, if it's something that you want to do, it's never too late, basically. I'm pushing 40 at this point, and I want to say I didn't start my business until I was almost 30. I was almost 30 when I started this thing. So it's never too late. As a 20-year-old, though, the younger, you have more opportunity, you have a little more time on your hand to build. Somebody that's in their 40s and 50s is not necessarily behind the curve, but you may be in a better place financially, or in your life in general at that age, to where even if you are working a job, it's still never too late to start a business, because you don't know where that thing is going to go, where it's going to lead to. I can tell you that the thing that you don't want to do is as a 20-year-old or as a 40-year-old, you don't want to be 20, and when you get 40, you look back and say, man, I wish I would have did that. Or if you're 40 and you get about 60, you don't want to look back and say, man, I wish I would have started that business when I was 40. So it's never too late to start it. There's so many different avenues. There's so many different ways to make money now, that it's crazy. And actually, I'm going to show you guys something. Again, like I say, I like to share information. So I'm gonna show you all something on my, let me see, is it on my website already?
Thank you, Lamar.
Yes. Who's speaking?
No, Alan. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, no problem, man. No problem, man. I hope this stuff is helpful. That's why I say, man, like I said, if you guys have any questions, definitely ask those questions. Don't feel, that you can't jump in. No questions is a stupid question. Again, I wish I had access to somebody kind of giving me this type of information when I was you guys' age, still getting ready for school and things like that. All right, so when we talk about different streams of income and things of that nature, right? So I'm going to take you guys to the website, and something that I just started recently actually is I've always been selling T-shirts and things of that nature, but I recently started this deal here. So the Jank Nation, you'll see, is pretty consistent with everything that I do. The Jank Nation is literally, like I said, I mentioned earlier, it's about the positive vibrations and what you put out into the world, and just being a part of that. Jank Nation is a family. It's a belonging to that group. So this is my most recent thing. All types of apparel. Jank Nation, obviously. But this type of stuff is available on my website. Now, what you're able to do, this website is called, if you look right up here, it's actually teespring.com. And I'm going to copy this. I'm actually going to paste this in the chat so that you guys can check that out when you get a chance. But when you talk about just streams of income, it doesn't cost you anything to put this up. You just have to design them, put them up. They ship it. You know, once they order, they actually print it and ship it. So I don't have to have hold on to a whole bunch of inventory. And it's just another way, like I say, another way to do that. But that's accessible through my website. When you go to Jank Swag on the website, and you just click here, and it'll take you to that site. And those are all of the things. I'm gonna stop sharing that. I'm gonna post that in the chat so you guys can have that.
Sorry,
Just
I have another question.
say it again.
I have another question.
Yes.
Okay, so I heard that you were also an author. Is it true?
It is. Okay. So my book is called The Adventures of Sir Jankster. The Adventures of Sir Jankster is a true story about my life. It's just in the form of a children's book. And I'm going to show you something real quick. Again, remember I told you I'm a musician that fell into the barbecue sauce thing. So my thing was, okay, if I'm going to do this children's book, how can I make it different? How can I stand out, right? So my idea was, let's do a rap song. Let's do, something where I'm actually rapping the story, and I'm just going to play like the first maybe 30 seconds of this, and you can always go back to this. I'll share this link in the share this link in the chat as well. But I'm gonna play this so you guys can see this as well, and you can always go back to it.